Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to my channel, Idle Hands. I'm attempting to keep track of my hobbies and help other hobbyists. My name is Andrew, and I am a retro gamer, a crafter, a home brewer, a lightweight backpacker, and an aspiring cosplayer. Hope to post a weekly vlog talking about my progress, some tips I've come across in my hobby pursuits, and help out with some of your projects as well. Today is all about retro gaming. So I hope to start every retro game vlog with an unboxing. To have my very first box. It's from Retro Game Treasure. It is a monthly subscription service that surprises you with 3 to 5 games. I have heard some mixed reviews about them, but I have to say that their interface is really easy to use, and the box is, for lack of a better term, wicked cool. Looks like a video game box, treasure box that you'll come across in some old video games, which I really enjoy. The nice feature it does have a nice feature of a wish list that is pretty easy to use, and an unrestricted number of games that you can add, so you're never limited on the games that you do have, unlike some other competitors. But the real test is going to be the perceived value of said box, and that's something we're going to find out together, because I don't know, I haven't tried it before, and it's $35 plus shipping, puts it around 41 and change to come here to Wisconsin. So let's check it out. So the first game is going to be an NES game, Xenophobe, which is going to help me in one of my collecting goals. I do have a pretty small NES collection. It's the largest of my 3 collections, but for the most part, this is the one that I am concentrating on, my Nintendo Entertainment System collection. Xenophobe, not a very good game, not the most expensive game, probably looking at about $5. Or less. So, see about that one. Next one is a PlayStation 1 game. It does come with a case. Case does seem to be in okay shape. Has the back art, but nothing on the front. But we're looking at Siberia, as in Cyberia. Not as in the location in Russia. I have no idea what this game is about. Looks interesting. I'd be interested to try it. We'll find out. Takes place in the year 2027. And the final games, it looks like I just get 3 in this one, is going to be the Greatest Hits collection of Final Fantasy Anthology. It is sealed. The problem is I want to play the game, so most likely going to open it. This one comes with Final Fantasy V and Final Fantasy VI in the game. Final Fantasies are one of my favorite style of games, and whether or not they are worth $35 is really the question. I don't know if I would call that. Yeah. I do believe Xenophobe, because that is part of one of my collecting goals, was on my wish list. So they gave me something that I wanted, but the perceived value in my mind is well under $35. So I'm going to do a quick rundown of the rest of my collection. and then from there, I would love to hear your feedback on that. Then we'll get into some other stuff in later videos. But this one is going to pause for a second while I get everything else ready to go. Okay, so going over my collection, let's start with the hardware. And as of right now, I have 3 consoles, including the Nintendo Entertainment System, the PlayStation 1, and the Nintendo 64. My PlayStation 1 and the N64 are going to be relatively limited in my hardware department because I'm not really concentrating my collecting on anything other than just a fun, playable system for those. So I don't care whether or not my controllers are special. I don't care if it's a like a special system. All I care is that I have a playable system and that the games are fun, and that I have enough of the controllers for, especially the N64, to play multiplayer. So, starting with the hardware, I have just the old original gray console of the Nintendo 64, currently with just the jump pack. I don't have the expansion. I do plan on getting it because I would like to play Perfect Dark and Donkey Kong Country 64, and it makes some other games look a little bit better and refresh faster, so that's pretty much that. I do have 2 controllers for said system. One is an actual Nintendo 64 controller. The other one is an off-brand, new manufactured one that is just so I can have 2 players. My next system, being the PlayStation 1, is just the small PlayStation 1, the little bitty one. I have several memory cards and 2 analog controllers because I like to feel the rumble. If they're going to put it in there, might as well. My next system is the one that I definitely have the most hardware for, and this has gone on a long time ago. So I started my collection with retro gaming because this is the one that I've always had the most affinity towards, because this is the one that I always loved when I was growing up. This is the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System. Pretty much the one that started it all. In my eyes, anyway. I was too young for Atari. This came out the year before I was born, I believe, in the United States, 1983, and I was born in 1984. I remember growing up with this one. This is not the original one that I had when I was growing up. That one has been since gone the way, I don't know where it went. My parents, as with many other collectors know, mothers tend to do away with your old stuff, and that was gone, as is my original PlayStation, which had the computer port so that you could stick in the Game Shark if you needed to, but yeah, that's gone. But from there, the hardware that I have is mostly concentrated on the Nintendo, because the N64, I just want really 4 controllers, the expansion pack, and the ability to play a bunch of fun games. So my hardware is going to be very expansive for the Nintendo 64. Or for the regular NES, you may be able to see it all behind me. But I'm just gonna bring out a couple of the pieces that I have, and we'll go from there. So as far as hardware is concerned, I have and usually play with Nintendo Advantage controllers, or Nintendo Max controllers, because they are much more ergonomically designed for your hand. They have a turbo button, which makes it very easy to do some other stuff that are a little bit more difficult, like shooting so many firebolts, or so many fireballs in Super Mario Brothers, that you never have to worry about anything else. So I have 3 of these that are loose. And the reason I have 3 and not just 2 is because that way I always have a backup in case one of them ends up breaking or something. Starting with the actual control deck, I did not pick up any of the special boxes. I got the original control deck, just the plain control deck. The Nintendo Entertainment System did come in what I had when I was growing up, the action set, which included the gun with Mario Duck Hunt. This one just was the control deck itself. This is complete in box minus the styrofoam for the top. So it's missing the styrofoam, top styrofoam. Then, so that has the control deck and the 2 square controllers that everybody knows and loves. I own 2 complete in-box versions of the NES Advantage controllers. 2 different boxes, so felt the need to get 2 different ones. This way we don't have to trade, because you can put this into both so that you can change up which player gets it at which time. But this way we don't have to trade. You can just play it as it's. The next part is my power pad. The power pad came with a game. Did come with World Class Track Meet. So my power pad still works. Because I live in an older house that has a very thin floor, my neighbors do not appreciate when I play with this one. And everybody needs it, because Duck Hunt is really fun, as well are several other games. The Nintendo Zapper. This one is the gray one, complete in box with the top styrofoam. Still working on that one. The Mothership, which is a joystick for the original controller. Haven't really used this one. It was just an extra little piece that you could get. It is from Suncom. It is Nintendo approved, but it's not made by Nintendo. And neither is this particular piece, but super excited about it. My Power Glove in box. It is a little ratty on the sides, but it's the way the box was constructed in the first place. Pretty bad. Power Glove does work as well as a Power Glove can be expected to work. They're not very good, but it's a boxed Power Glove. A couple other little accessories. I do have the NES cleaning kit, complete in box. It's just a nice little thing to have to clean your system when you need it. And then the Game Genie. This one is loose. It's just fun to be able to cheat a little bit and get some fairness in some of the games that are a little bit more difficult. So that is pretty much my hardware for everything, including all my systems and all my controllers. That's pretty much it. As far as for games, I had until today, as we saw earlier, a whopping 1 N64 game, 8 PlayStation games, and 42 NES games. My N64 collection is brand new, and I never owned the system when I was growing up. And I didn't know much about it, but I knew it had a lot of fun games, and that's what I'm going for. And there were a lot of party games because it already had 4 jacks ready for it. You just had to get more controllers. There are a lot of fun games, and that's what I'm going for. And I still need to acquire an expansion pack and to appreciate the library to its fullest, because there's a couple of games that I won't be able to play without it. PlayStation had a lot of my favorite genre, the Japanese-style RPGs like Final Fantasy, which I got another 2 Final Fantasies to play now. with that one. Lots of other great ones, and I can't wait to literally spend hundreds of hours exploring the open worlds and battling monsters. Currently on Disc 3 of Final Fantasy IX, and most of my PlayStation collection currently revolves around those types of games, but I do enjoy other games on the system. Some of my favorites growing up were Siphon Filter and Driver. Fun, common games that I haven't picked up just yet, but I will. And of course, I do have 2 of the Tomb Raiders, because how can you forget about the Origins of Lara Croft? So. As far as my NES games, these are the ones I'm truly trying to collect, and when I can, a complete game is going to be ideal, but I will gladly pick up a loose copy and attempt to accumulate manuals and boxes and other ads and stuff for them for later. Just a quick little glance at them. My complete games. My loose cartridges. My board games. But board games are neither here nor there. I do have some collecting goals, and I will keep you informed of them because I think it's important for collectors to have goals. Otherwise, you're just, and they're smaller goals. There's never any possibility that I'll ever get all of the games for the NES. Like, there's just not a possibility. I have wiped that idea out of my head because the thousands of dollars I would have to spend on games would just be ridiculous. So as far as my complete inbox games go, a lot of them were really cheap. When I first started collecting, I was just like, oh, I can get this for $1. I can get this really cheap. So a lot of them aren't that great, but there were a few that I felt I wanted, and a complete inbox version was where I wanted to go with it. So when I picked up The Legend of Zelda, which I never had growing up, I went with the complete inbox version. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was another one that I always wanted growing up. Played it a couple times at friends' houses, but never really had it growing up. It is one of my goals in life to find a autograph signing of Mike Tyson and have him sign it. But I don't know if that's ever going to happen or if it would increase the value at all, because it would just be a really cool thing to have in your collection, a Mike Tyson signed copy of Punch-Out. I have some really nice condition boxes. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is one of them. Championship Bowling, which is a really fun bowling game, and I can hit that 7-10 split like nobody's business. It's a 4-player game that you use 2 controllers with, and it's kind of a lot of fun. My family used to play that one. And as you may have saw, there are quite a few really bad games in this collection. Captain Planet, The Last Starfighter, broken game mechanics make it almost impossible to beat. It doesn't... Yeah, they're just bad games. Same thing with Back to the Future. But I enjoyed the cartoon of Captain Planet when I was growing up, so why not get it? Last Starfighter is it's a really good, bad sci-fi movie, and Back to the Future is just a great movie altogether. Another one of my favorites is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. This one I had growing up, and having the ability to play it just really made my day. That one always made really my affinity towards Donatello as being my favorite Ninja Turtle was definitely solidified by that. Not that I ever got to play as Leonardo in the first place, because my brother always played as Leonardo, and little brothers get second choice, and little brothers are always Luigi. So it's kind of the downfall of that. I do need to get some game box protectors, because there are quite a few that are in pretty nice condition that I don't want them to get any worse than what they are, and some of them aren't in the best condition, so my loose games are not as impressive, but I do have some that are quite nice. My Metroid is relatively new to the collection. I never had it growing up. I decided to go with the yellow cartridge, yellow art cartridge, because I like the art better on this one than I did on the gray cartridge. I had a couple opportunities to get the gray cartridge, but this is a lot of a much more appealing art than the other Metroid was, and I think that's what I liked about it, so that's why I went with that one. I picked up DuckTales. Not too expensive for me, but it's a pretty good game, and it's gonna make one of my goals a little bit more difficult, but it's okay. And then the jewel of my collection would be my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighter. This one here, I never had growing up, but it's a pretty fun fighter, and it's a pretty expensive game right now. I'm glad I picked it up when I did, because I would not be able to afford it at all, because a loose copy is going for like $130 on some auctions, and I paid, I think, about $50 for it when I did, with a manual. So my manual is a pretty crispy manual. All the pages are there. There's one bend on the front. It's in pretty good shape. Some shelfware on it, but that's pretty much it. But that one there is probably my most expensive game by far. And other than the Power Glove, probably most expensive thing that I own in my Nintendo collection. But as far as my goals for collecting for the Nintendo, I have a few, and I think my biggest goal right now, I don't know why they appeal to me, probably because they're really annoying when you're trying to look through a stack of games. You can't see a lot of them. My goal right now is to collect all of the Jaleco titles, whether it's just published or developed and published by Jaleco. That's 22 titles in the American Library, including some pretty high-end ones, like Wampum and the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. Shatterhand, another one by Jaleco. So there's 22. I currently have Astyanax, Bases Loaded, Robo Warrior. I don't have a very good start on it, but I do want to collect all of the Jaleco titles. Totally Rad is one that I really want to get as well. It gets a bad rap, but I think it looks like a really fun game, and I would really like to try it. And it's not too expensive, and it's a pretty good Mega Man clone. Other goals that I have, I was, up until today, one of 3 that I needed to collect all of the X games all of the titles that started with X, but since I do have Xenophobe now, as well as Zexel, I'm only Zuvius away from getting all 3 X games that are on the Nintendo Entertainment System. The other one that, and then I do plan on collecting all the Y games and the Z games and the smaller numbered letter games, but getting A's, B's, W's, and a couple like S's. There's just so many of them. Then another one of my goals is to collect everything that I have a series started for. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1, 2, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Fighter, and I need Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 in order to finish that. Back to the Future, I have Back to the Future. I need Back to the Future 2 and 3, which fortunately is only one game. I have Bionic Commando. So technically I need Commando because Bionic Commando is technically the sequel to Commando. I have all 3 Castlevania games. I do have all the Mario series games, 1, 2, and 3, because I do have 2, 3, and Mario Duck Hunt. But I would like to get Super Mario Brothers, and I do have Dr. Mario as well. So there's a couple of Mario games that, if I really want to, I can. I do have both of the Ghostbusters games. The big one is going to be this one. This one is going to be an issue to get both get DuckTales 2, because that one is probably way out of my price range. And unless I come up with a lot of money, I'm probably never going to be able to afford it. So, but as far as my goals are, I will update you on those. I'm really close to my X goals, and then I'm probably going to go to Y, because there are only a few in that as well. And then Z also only has a few. I do need to get Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link, which I think actually goes into my Z's as well. But that's kind of what I got as far as my rundown of collection. After I finish Jaleco, I may try and do Tengen or LJN, because why not get all the worst licensed games in the entire library? Or Tengen, which is pretty good, and it's a little bit different. The cartridges look different, and they're just mostly good. So that's what I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed, and remember, idle hands aren't doing anything.